Swamiye Sharanamaipa. Om Shakti. Ra Shakti. I hope that you devotees have enjoyed the discourse yesterday on the concept of the pathway to victory. That is one way of looking at the celebration of Navaratri. Today we're going to discuss another wonderful aspect of this worship, in that we believe that in the world there is this consciousness which is represented or called Purusha, and it is hidden in the universe. You can't really see it. Where the Prakriti, the material universe, is the obvious thing that we see. And scientists are telling us today that all materiality is basically nothingness. When they look into the atom, look into the nucleus, and they find these elements of the electron, proton, photon, neutron, they find that this is just packets of energy. It's nothingness, it's nothing material. So what looks like solid on the outside, on the inside, is almost nothingness. So this Prakriti is one, and Purusha is the consciousness. And we believe that everything in material nature represents this, has these three gunas. For example, it is in me as well. And we hope that the proportion of these gunas, these attributes of these three that we call tamas, rajas and sattva, is a process like how the journey to victory occurred in Navaratri in the one aspect. In this aspect, moving from that which is inactive to that which is very, very purposefully active in our lives. So the first 3 nights is represented by this worship of Kali. So which quality does this particular deity represent?
It represents the tamasic nature, the tamasic guna. Tamasic being that which is negative, all energies that is negative, everything that is of a dark nature, an ignorant nature. So we need to understand that and come into contact with it. So that's why we call it from inaccessible. We need to access all that negative tendencies, negative gunas, to proceed into the next 3 nights of Mother Lakshmi worship.
When we often describe people who are going through a difficult time, we often describe people that live in quite a lot of darkness, you see. They have very dark lives, they have dark times, yes, and so on, you see, no? So we often describe this like that. So the next 3 nights is dedicated to Mother Lakshmi. And this color is completely different, with Kali being black, Mother Lakshmi very vibrant, red, isn't it? Why so?
Because Mother Lakshmi represents the guna of rajas, the guna of activity. And this red color represents the color of, it's not represents, but it matches the color of blood, which is the color of life. When we are active in this world and we are able to move, they say get your blood pumping, isn't it? So this red color represents this life and passion for life, the ability to be active instead of completely inactive.
So if Kali is the blackness and represents the tamasic guna that needs to be destroyed in each one of us. That's why Kali comes out with a tongue sticking out, with a weapon in her hand, a very, very fierce looking form. Mother Lakshmi is a very, very serene and invokes in us, when we look at her, these qualities. When we look at something that is red in ourselves, there is a passion that bursts.
Yes, and you can see in the image of Mother Lakshmi, often you will find 2 elephants on the side of her spraying water. You will find the beautiful lotus that she is seated on. You will find the kalisham. You will find all these things in an image that start stimulating our energy. It is
or from her hand, rays of money, coins coming out of
that
her
makes
hand.
us more energetic than anything else.
It makes most people wake up, isn't it?
So that's the beginning of showing that negativity is being suppressed now. We come out of a lotus into a pure world. We're hoping to achieve this pure world.
So that is the quality of rajas, and rajas means passion. But it is activity that is non-directional, and we need to make sure that people understand this. You can have a very, very rajasic kind of person, a very, very active person, very vibrant person, but he's going nowhere. Yeah. That person is doing many things, but nothing, no focused activity. So then we get then this pure white Saraswati.
But sorry, before you go to Saraswati, it's important to remember that Rajasic is better than Tamasic.
Absolutely.
Because the only way to move is to move from one to the other. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in Tamas forever. At least if you start some activity, you'll start being able to learn. You start being able to grow. It might not be the best, as we say, it's neither good or bad activity. It's simply activity. But only activity can help you reach good. If you are still in Tamas, you can't go immediately to good.
And it's only by doing something. It's only by doing something you learn. You know, it's
Absolutely.
like most people say, if you just start cutting wood and you don't know how to cut it, you don't know the action, by just doing you will learn, because doing is a teacher.
Yes.
When you do something, it automatically teaches you this is the wrong way and that's the right way. So if you didn't do, you learn nothing. You're doing, you'll make many mistakes, but mistakes doesn't mean that it is you're a failure. It just means that it's a stepping stone to learning what is right. Then finally, Saraswati is adorned in this beautiful white sari, and she has a beautiful other aspect of her murti. Isn't it? Maybe you can just comment on what is found in the murti of Saraswati.
Saraswati in the top right hand has a rosary, a mala, which represents spiritual nature, spirituality. Then she has in the bottom left hand a book, which represents secular knowledge. So we need to understand and that secular knowledge can only be achieved if you understand truly what is spiritual knowledge. And that is the middle part of it. She holds in one hand, in the two hands, playing a veena.
So if you can just before we go on to that one, just mention that the rosary is in the right upper hand.
In the upper
It is
hand.
at a higher level than the book that she holds in the lower hand. Right? So that's why you're saying that it is, once you know the one, you automatically learn the other.
So it comes through by an effort which you are making by the playing of the veena. That's an ever-flowing sound, a sound of music that can truly take your mind into a calmer level, so that one can have a focused level.
Music also makes you dance, isn't it? So if you want to dance through life, you must be able to play the right kind of tune, isn't it? Often they say you dance according to somebody's tune, isn't it? So like that, we need to know that when we can play the music of our life, play the tunes of our own divine nature that comes from the sea, holds it in your hand, you have to become an instrument in the hand of Mother Saraswati, isn't it? Often we say that, in order to achieve something, you have to become an instrument of that divine. So that symbology of a holding that says, be an instrument in the hand of God. So this three, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, progression from the dull to the active to the focused, like you mentioned, is a sure way of attaining victory at
So the color of Saraswati we forgot to mention is the color of pure whiteness. Whiteness is that which reflects every other color and also contains every other color in it. Just like we said in one of the earlier discourses, once you know the Supreme, like the white, you will know everything else. Just like all 7 colors of the rainbow are found in the
White
prism of white light. So let us remember those 3 colors, dark blue or black for Mother Durga and Kali, red for Mother Lakshmi and white for Mother Saraswati, Tamasic Guna, Rajasic Guna and Sattvic Guna.
And also the Vahanam for Saraswati is the swan. So the swan is the only animal that could extract from it a mixture of milk and water. It could only extract the milk. So that is a lesson that we need to understand, what we need to focus on, so that we could extract that which is pure.
So what you're saying is, from all the action that we perform in the world, we must extract the right kind of action, the correct kind of action, be like discriminative like the swan. It is exposed to both, but chooses only the good. Swami Saranam. I hope the other 3 aspects that we discussed of gunas is meaningful in this celebration of Navaratri. Om Shakti.
Parashakti.